we take seriously democracy as a way of life, and it's not just simply how it lives in our institutions and it lives in our laws, it's how it lives in us, how it lives in our very bodily comportment. So I spend a good deal of time in one of the chapters discussing Billie Holiday and her performances of Strange Fruit. And the way in which her mother didn't want her to perform this, but she thought this could make things better. Strange Fruit emerges as Abel Maripol is viewing a lynching photograph. He writes a poem, Bitter Fruit, that then acquires this new title, and Billie Holiday makes it a hit. And what's striking about Billie Holiday is not simply that she sung the song, but her performances, in which she attempts somatically, at the level of the body, to perform what she's trying to elicit from her audience, right? That is, as she sort of provides a grimace, as she cringe, she wants you to perform that, in contrast to the ways in which lynching photographs were in circulation as a source of jubilation. This is what makes the fruit strange. It is not a source of sustenance. It deforms, right? And so the thought is that democracy doesn't just simply live in our institutions, it should live in us and in our bodily comportment. And that those performances are also her rhetorical attempts, right, to move her audience to a new place. I think the second question, very fascinating. Chapter 4 is the chapter that really sort of directly bears on this. And part of what comes up in this chapter is the disagreement between Martin Delany on the one side, Frederick Douglass and Anna Julia Cooper on the other, in which Martin Delany uses the sort of evidence and the sort of empirical interactions between blacks and whites as the only ground for engagement. And Frederick Douglass and Anna Julia Cooper sort of try to say that, look, for anyone who's using this sort of strong evidentiary basis, our approach will always seem irrational. Right? But the interesting thing is that when has radical political transformation come about? Because actors have been proceeding rationally. Often the world around them is telling them precisely the opposite of the thing that they're trying to bring about. And it's precisely it's precisely because they're animated by a vision of human life that is not yet, a vision of our shared relationships that are not yet, that then orients them in time and space as the condition for bringing it into existence, right? And so that for them, it is not at all clear how democratic transformation could ever come about, independent of faith, right? Even as it is constantly courting, right? Even as it's constantly revealing the inadequacy of the evidence needed to justify what's fueling it.
Can we give Professor Rogers a round of applause?